All right. I don't know. We have one person here because we just got kicked off of the other chat.
Hi, one person.
And they just left.
Oh, shit.
So I can't tell if even the audio is working. I think we just need to go for it.
Okay. Great.
And then
singing to you.
Hey, 2 people are here. Okay, can you hear this? Is the audio working now? Sorry about all these mix-ups with the quality. Okay. Right Voss says it's working.
Oh,
great.
good.
People are here. Okay.
Okay.
We're back on.
All right.
I don't know what the problem was.
Okay.
Hit it, Cammie.
This is a song I wrote called God Is Not a Man to Me. I'm just getting started. This is not for the faint-hearted. We don't have to agree, but this is better for me. God has been put in a box. Don't you think it's time to open the lock? God is not a man to me. God is much more free. Oh, can't you see? God is also a she. God is not one-dimensional. I would say more flexible. This may be hard to hear, so maybe grab a beer. God has been put in a box. Don't you think it's time to open the lock? God is not a man to me. God is much more free. Oh, can't you see? God is also a she. God is not a man to me. God is much more free. Oh, can't you see? God is also a she. Oh, can't you see? God is also a she.
Yay.
Thank you, thank you.
Glenn says, awesome song. Ooh, Bear Tactical says hi there. That's funny. Hey, Eric.
Oh, hey, Eric. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm doing not a song I wrote. This is a song written by the Cranberries, which if you're, I don't know, 35 and older, you probably know who they are.
We just had cranberries for dinner.
So the band, this is called Dreams. Oh, my life is changing every day, every possible way. Don't my dreams like this before. Now I'm feeling even more because it came from you. Then I open up and see the person falling here is me. A different way to be. I want more. Impossible to ignore. Impossible to ignore. They'll come true. Impossible not to do. Impossible not to do. Now I tell you openly, you have my heart, so don't hurt me. What I couldn't find. Totally amazing mind, so understanding and so kind. You're everything to me. Oh, my life is changing every day, every possible way. Though my dreams, it's never quite as it seems. 'Cause you're a dream to me, dream to me.
Yay.
Okay, this is the last song I'm gonna do.
Oh, we got someone knocking.
I
on the
know.
door.
I think I know who that is. This song is called Shopping Carts, and I wrote this song. Saw you at the grocery store. Wish you could see I'm so much more than a lost soul. So much more whole. Going another way. I'm sorry, I can't stay. I'll wait for you. If you only knew what's behind this door. There's so much more. I'll be there with so much to share. Grew up fearing someone like me has permission just to be who I am at the core. Don't go through that door. Door leads Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
What'd you guys think of that special musical guest? Oh my gosh. Sorry guys for all the technical difficulties, and thanks for hopping over to this other feed. Right Voss says, thank you, musical guest. Yeah, glad we are able to figure out the audio here. Okay, back at it. We have this last section of the book that we're going to finish off on for chapter 3 today. It is called Hike Your Own Hike. Oh, it's a long section. Do you want to read it?
Sure.
Oh, yes.
I like reading. All right.
I kind of thought you were going to like say something about that song, like explain it to people, but that's a heavy song.
I never know what to do about that. Yeah, I wrote that song about my brother, actually. Him and I don't speak very much anymore. Okay.
Well, that's it. All right.
Well, don't know how much to get into it.
Yeah. Okay.
Michael says shopping carts will never be the same. True. I feel that way too. Okay. So this is where you're at?
Yeah.
Okay. Hike your own hike. After seeing how much towns improved our morale, we felt like we needed to make stops like this a part of our routine. We hadn't considered ourselves attached to conveniences like electricity and hot water, but now that we didn't have them, we loved the feelings those things produced and appreciated their presence more than we ever had at home. They let us feel rested, human, and safe. When we knew there was a town coming up in 2 or 3 days, we started making plans to go in. We'd say to the kids, "We have a hotel tonight." Everyone would cheer, knowing what that meant. It would change the pace of the entire day, and the last mile we'd all run to the road thinking about how good a bed would feel. It went a long way towards shifting the morale of our increasingly ragged crew. It turned a daunting, epic journey with no end into a series of 4-day trips from town to town. We started to notice energy levels rising among the kids. Memory and Filia were especially energetic, always wanting to explore a little further and check out side trails. When the rest of us would hit a clearing or a meadow and lay down to take a rest in the sun or eat snacks, Memory and Filia would take the camera and run up hills to film the view at the top. It felt easier to expend more energy on unnecessary side adventures, knowing it was only a matter of days until we'd be able to recharge with a warm bed and hot food. We thought about what Arnie had told us, hike your own hike. Having a framework of freedom and uniqueness was important because we were constantly surrounded by hikers from all over the world who were all hiking completely differently. Early on in the hike, we saw at least 20 other hikers on the trail a day, and sometimes many more. Loads of people started on March 1st, the same day as us, which created a hiker bubble. We'd start the day with a group of other hikers spread out as we walked, run into them again at breaks, and see most of them at camp that night. But soon we started to see the hikers who had started with us fade away from the trail due to injuries, the difficulty, or the cold. They were giving up on the AT. Historically, the percentage of people who quit the trail each year before finishing varies between 75 and 90%. This means in the best years, only 1 in 4 people you meet on the trail will make it to the end. The year we hiked, we started with 3,862 hikers registered at Springer Mountain, hoping to take their picture with the A-frame sign at the top of Mount Katahdin. Only 764 would report finishing. That's less than 1 in 5. For our family, the odds were obviously even slimmer. Most hiker groups formed loosely, meaning that if someone had to quit, the rest of the group would keep going. But because we were a family committed to staying together, any sickness, injury, or major life event for any one of us meant all 8 of us were done. It decreased the probability of all 8 of us making it from 1 in 5 to 1 in 390,000. Those were very long odds. I'm just like reading this. I'm like, what the? That's crazy.
For those of you that don't know, this is Cammy's first time reading the book.
Well, yeah, I read like a very, very early rough draft. So I don't sound like like I'm totally unsupportive. All right. Deep down, though, we all knew faces were disappearing fast. It was a common conversation around our warm food. Have you seen Steve? Did you hear about Blackbeard? Hiker news was the common currency. We'd look across the restaurant at other hikers and wonder if this was the last time we'd see them. No doubt they were wondering the same thing about our family. We'd even heard there was a line drawn in Vegas, and people had placed some very low odds to bet on our failure.
I never found out what the bet was, though.
Really?
I've always wanted to know like what the line was at, what the odds were for our family in Vegas, because
yeah,
I have a soft spot in my heart for betting
and odds. It wasn't our first time coming up against the critics when we attempted a physical feat. One thing our family has always done together is running. We run daily for exercise, and we run races all the way up to marathons for fun. Our kids run with us. Over the years, we'd had lots of people tell us we were running marathons wrong. They'd say our version didn't count because we'd walk for a few stretches and take breaks for our kids, as though there was some unwritten rule that running a marathon means doing it completely unbroken, and a tenth of a mile worth of walking would negate 26.2 miles of running. We didn't listen. We ran our own marathon. We made the marathon work for our family so that we could all do it together. The only rule we set for ourselves was that to say they had finished, each of our children had to move their bodies from the start line to the finish line without physical assistance. Besides that rule, we ran it our way. This meant taking beer and champagne when it was offered, stopping for popsicle breaks when it was hot, stopping to hang out with Hominy and Papa, and even stopping for Cammy to breastfeed Rainier when he was an infant. At one point, we passed a park and took a break for Filia to play on the playground. Our family has always come in close to last place, but we've always finished together. Nothing else matters to us. Arnie's message to us had made our priorities clear. The internet critics and the people betting against us in Vegas weren't in our shoes and didn't have our goals, so to listen to their moral code for how they thought our day should go would mean disaster for all of us. At the end of the hike, there's no panel of judges with scorecards waiting for you at Katahdin. To hike your own hike meant that to judge another person's experience, or even your own, is to totally miss the point of the trail. To succeed on the trail, we would have to apply the same principle. In order to have any chance at succeeding, we would have to find a way to tune out the voices from outsiders and focus on what we thought was best for our family. Ignoring other voices did not just pertain to people on the internet. It meant other hikers too. As the weeks ticked away and the number of hikers dwindled, we started to recognize more and more of the hikers who remained. There was a sense of familiarity and camaraderie as we all experienced the cold and aches and pains together. When we made it to a town and saw other hikers at the store or in a restaurant, we shared our mutual appreciation for the amenities. We'd give each other glances across the restaurant, overtop our beers, like, nice, we made it this far. Haven't quit yet. This created a false sense of loyalty that had a large potential for danger. Because we so wanted the other hikers' company and to be accepted by them, it would be so easy to ignore our own unique needs as a group in order to hike with them and try and stick together. Eventually, we had to recognize that while we may be able to get away with that a day at a time, it was not going to work for 5 months. No matter what, our top priority had to be our own needs and the abilities of our family team. We'd hike with our new hiker friends when it made sense, but we'd split off when it didn't. We were starting to learn that that's what hike your own hike really means. Ignore the outside voices telling you are doing it wrong. There is no wrong. But also watch out for wanting to fit in so badly that you start hiking someone else's hike. Even though we were bolstered by the hike your own hike motto, there were still times when sticking to it proved difficult. It seemed like some of the hikers that were having the most fun were hiking in groups and making decisions to stay together. Early on, we met a group of 3 hikers, a group of college-age kids who had become increasingly friendly. After seeing them several times, we started to exchange updates and conversations every time we passed each other. One of them, named Fun Facts, loved to stop and talk to the kids whenever she ran across them. She was a college student who was unlike anyone our our relatively sheltered Kentucky-raised kids had come across in life. She was bisexual, had type 1 diabetes, and seemed to have a fun fact for all things geological, historical, zoological, and botanical. She carried a pack of Haribo Frogs gummy candy, which she'd have to stop and eat if the insulin pump on her arm beeped. In our first interaction with her, she taught the kids about a certain type of wintergreen leaf that's edible and tastes like bubblegum. With no internet, TV, or radio, one fact from Fun Facts could keep the kids entertained for hours as they walked along picking leaves to chew on. Fun Facts was hiking with an Australian Army vet who went by the name Nubs. He spoke with a thick accent and was hilariously sarcastic and cynical about everything. Then there was an engineer from Iowa who called himself Colligan. He was raised on a farm and spent his summers competing in county fairs. Colgan was the fastest hiker we'd seen yet. He'd walk right past us with his headphones on, singing songs from Mulan and The Lion King at the top of his lungs. This group traveled at a speed and with a style that seemed like fun. Cammie and I, in our tent at night, occasionally imagined being independent of the kids and joining the group on fast, long days in which we didn't have to deal with a toddler and keep our eyes on 5 other kids needing our guidance. It helped to remember that the grass is always greener and that our unique hike would have unique pros and cons that were different from everyone else's. We had to remember that we weren't on the AT to please other hikers, internet observers, or some fictitious panel of judges grading our purity. All that mattered was hiking the hike that worked for our family.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's chapter 3.
All right. What do you think of the book so far?
I like it.
All right, guys. We have a few minutes. If there's any Q&A type stuff, it looked like we lost a lot of people because of the connection thing. So sorry again for all those technical difficulties, and thanks for hanging with us. And we will be back next week, also Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time to read chapter 4.
I won't be.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be by yourself. You'll have to find a different musical guest.
Oh, shoot.
Or not.
There's no replacing you,
Okay,
baby.
you'll have to wait 2 weeks to hear me again.
But I thought I would just briefly say once again that this section where we were at was where we went back to the trail this last week, and we'll be releasing some vlogs this week showing what that was like to go back to that spot. And it's just such a different experience because the state of mind we were in, and it's so crazy like being around hikers who are still kind of in that state of mind. And it's weird. It was like just a different thing for us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. If you want to get a copy of the book, you can do it on Amazon or our website, our merch store, which the link is in the video description. It helps us out if you buy the book directly from us as opposed to Amazon, where we get about a third of the money. And it's also available on audiobook anywhere audiobooks are sold, like on Audible and iTunes and all those types of places. Or you could hear it for free, 1 chapter a week at a time directly from us. Inez says, do you guys plan on doing any other big adventures anytime soon? Well, we just got denied for the last time, 46 days in a row? 41 days in a row for the John Muir Trail this summer, which is a 200-mile hike in California. So nothing as big as the Appalachian Trail. Next summer, we're talking about doing the Pacific Crest Trail. But we have, with a group our size, we have to remain flexible while still being willing to put things on the calendar. And then the kids and I have a mini adventure plan this summer that involves mountain climbing and possibly Mount Rainier. Oh, yeah, Eric just wrote Mount Rainier. I don't know if you saw it, Eric. I mean, I know you did. I'm posting all these pictures of Mount Rainier on my Instagram account now because I found all these pictures and I'm like, man, I love that place. Claire says we're heading down to the AT next week. Any suggestions on a good way to start some trail magic? Well, Claire, I have an entire video that I've dedicated to trail magic. So if you go to our channel and you just type in trail magic, it's called like 6 tips for better trail magic. So I don't know if you're looking for a location. Rock Gap is a great location because it's, well, it all depends on where you're going, first of all, but watch that video because I took the time to explain what I think through hikers like. Yeah, Carolyn says walk-up permits. I've thought about walk-up permits, but
it's risky for us, I guess.
with
It feels
8
that
people,
way.
it feels a little more risky. But yet, with the Wonderland Trail, I've always done walk-up permits.
But we lived. Yeah, I guess we didn't live there.
Claire says we'll be in the Gatlinburg area. Well, Newfound Gap, you can do trail magic, which is the road directly up from Gatlinburg. The only problem with that is almost everyone that gets to Newfound Gap goes into Gatlinburg. So just be prepared. Like they're going to come, they'll get food and stuff, and then they're going to like go straight into town, which actually is what we were doing anyway. So it'll still be appreciated. Almost anything is appreciated. And if you do trail magic, it gives you the ability to connect with hikers, which I think is really valuable.
She said that her kids want to see the bathroom at Newfound Gap.
Oh, totally. I thought about that this last time, and I was like, we should just go lay on the floor of the women's restroom, except for 1, it'd be gross, and 2, I'd probably get arrested for going to the women's restroom. And have never not gotten permits if you sleep out on a sidewalk. Maybe this Carolyn person, you could like talk to her because she sounds like she has this figured out.
Yeah.
If we still want to do that trail.
Yeah, Carolyn Hayden.
Carolyn, could you reach out and send us an email or an Instagram message if you want to talk? Katie says, hi, I'm from Australia and just wanted to know if you're scared of bears. Okay, I got a funny story because no, I'm not.
We never saw a bear, which
Yeah,
is weird.
It's not just that I'm brave. I've had daydreams of poking a bear in the eye with my trekking pole when I was hiking with young kids, but now it hasn't been an issue. But when we were running on the AT this last week, Cam and I were on this 7-mile run, and I walked up behind this lady because I didn't want to like be like, hey, move out of my way. So I like walked hoping she'd like hear my footsteps. She didn't. And then she just like
jumped out of her skin.
She just turned around. She's like screamed at me. She verbally assaulted me. And then she's like, I thought you were a bear. And I was like, no, do I look like a bear? I'm not a bear. But she thought she was scared to death of bears. Yeah. So no, I'm not afraid of bears. We have seen bears on other trails, but they've never been a problem. I have heard in places like Alaska, you should watch out. I don't know.
Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Grizzly bears, but they're not around here. They're not on the AT.
Yeah. All right. Well, hope that answers your questions. Thanks again, guys, for joining us. It's weird reading this book, man. I like have flashbacks of doing the audiobook and I get so tense because I can't mess up any word. And it was like so stressful. It was like 13 hours of reading. And if you do decide to read the audiobook or buy the audiobook, it has all the kids' voices and has interviews with all the family afterwards. I'm pretty proud of it. And I've heard good things about it, although
Carolyn says you did a great job with the audiobook.
Carolyn, listen to it. Maybe she said that earlier. Thanks, Carolyn. I talked to all these people. I hated doing it, actually, to be honest. And I was like, I should have hired somebody. And then when I was on the AT, everyone was like, oh, I'm so glad you read it. And I was like, all right. You're on chapter 10. All right, cool. Happy to hear that. I'm anxious to hear what you think of the rest, especially the like interviews in between, because I haven't got any feedback on those particular sections, which took extra work. All right. Thanks, guys. We will see you next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, to read chapter 4. And sorry again for the technical difficulties. I think I'm going to have something new figured out by then. So hopefully it'll be great. See you guys next time.
Bye.